Welcome to A Lot of Things, the show where we talk about many things, including entertainment, books, video games, shows, apps, and all that sorts of stuff. I'm Carl Sordella. I'm back with you again. This is the show that we used to do in 2019 in this awesome studio, Cloud Studios. I have with me today a guest, and we'll be doing that all the time now, especially with this particular person, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
And this particular person, I'm going to introduce now. And you can talk during it, but I'm going to do an introduction.
Yeah, do you want me to say my name?
I'm going to get to that.
Okay, got it. Hey, this is your show. I am just living in it.
Well, it's our show at this moment.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm very generous.
This person I met because I was going back to do stand-up comedy, which I still want to get back to doing. And obviously the pandemic caused a lot of issues with that. But this is pre-pandemic, and I was going out to different places and wanting to do shows. And I think you were saying we met before the Weird Club, right?
Yeah. I forgot the name of it, but it's going to go, I think they're about to close it. It's, yeah, we met before that. I can't remember if it was either at Laughs or at, one of the Thai restaurants or...
Oh, that's right.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, and here in Seattle, if you don't know, there's a lot of comedy that's just at Thai restaurants for some reason. Mm-hmm. And just in small, weird little places. I'm sure all over the U.S. there's things like that, but...
Yeah.
I did do a show next to a dishwasher at some point. Washing dishes.
Like a person doing.
Yeah, he was doing the dishes.
Wash dishes. Yeah.
And I was like, Jeremy, because I knew his name for some reason.
Yeah.
Would you just keep it down over there? And he was like, No, I can't. This is my job. Anyways, we met at some point at this weird club, or even before that. And I remember in the very beginning, I didn't know you very well. I mean, I just kind of met you, or had seen you in the clubs, and then you immediately started talking shit to me.
Interesting.
Like in a good way.
It doesn't sound like me.
Kind of like that. Not like full on shit, but just kind of like, going like, oh, really?
That sounds like me.
Yeah. I was like,
I'm very cynical.
I want to do all these shows. And like I said, it's a couch on stage, right?
Yeah.
And it's a podcast, but it's also a stand-up show. And you're like, I don't know about this guy.
That's true. But then you kind of told me an example of these guys that were a couple of black dudes that did it in Texas, and then I looked. Oh, you sent me the links. The 95 South or something like that.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I forgot what they're called.
95 South.
Is it 95 South?
It's something south. It was like they named it after a freeway and
right.
I checked it out. I'm like, interesting, right? So yeah, but I didn't understand the concept, and I didn't see how that would work. And I think the reason I told you to come to the Soto location was because they had a big stage and this massive space that was owned by this 80-year-old black guy that I never knew, and I don't know what to use the space for. There's I don't know, they made pizza, whatever, but it was an amazing space.
It was awesome. It was super weird, and the bathrooms were super weird, and there was astronauts and gorillas. I don't know. It was just a weird place.
Yeah.
But anyways, we met there, and I was like, yeah, we should do some comedy stuff together because you're doing comedy, I'm doing comedy. And then I found out his name. I didn't know your name for a while, I don't think, for that evening.
Yeah.
And yeah, so everybody welcome Carlos Haddix.
Hey, thank you. Glad to be here. Appreciate your time.
Another Carlos.
Yeah, Carlos and Carlos.
Carlos and Carlos, which we did a little TikTok thing for a half a second, which
TikTok.
is Carlos and Carlos.
It sounds ridiculous when we say that, two grown men doing TikTok.
What? I'm doing TikTok?
I mean, I do TikTok for my daughter. I'm her director.
Well, I do TikTok as my regular age me.
I mean, I'm talking shit, but I'm actually on that TikTok with you.
Oh, yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Yeah, we did something there for a hot second, but then I thought, restart this show.
Yeah.
And then we're talking about working on a studio that's similar to this and kind of getting that up and running.
Queen Anne's coming.
Yeah. So here we are on the show.
All right.
Before we get into the deep dive, which is the section I've made up for this show.
Deep dive. It's like an Amazon leadership principle.
Oh, that's where you went with it? I thought you were going somewhere totally different.
Oh, you thought I was going pornographic?
Yeah, because that's...
No, you know why? Because I'm an adult and I'm mature.
You're an adult. Again, we've established that I'm not.
Yeah.
And I use TikTok.
The first part's true, but the second part is questionable.
That's the first thing. That's the kind of stuff you did when I first met you.
What are you talking about?
That. It's this thing it's really interesting because you do this thing where it's like, I'm just saying words. And then but you can't hold it in too long. You're talking shit quiet. You talk shit quietly. That's what it is.
Yeah, I call that the mumble shit talk.
Yeah, it's like mumblecore.
What'd you say? Oh, nothing.
No. I was just talking shit to you.
Just that's all.
Yeah, you do that all the time.
I do. It's very subtle.
It is. It's basically I'll say anything, and you'll be like, Is that your final answer?
They're like,
And I'm like, I guess.
and then it's like, there's a person I know. I don't. Maybe there's a person. I have a coworker. She's so dry in terms of like her wit that you are 100% positive that she's serious, and then you don't know how to respond because like you're as a comedian, right? We always have some type of retort, right? And the retort, 50% of the time, could be inappropriate, right? And sometimes it's better not to retort if you don't know if that person's serious or not. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I've been in that situation. So my friend, Jamie O'Neill, who owns a salon up in Queen Anne, she was talking to me about how she keeps dating these guys and they're just narcissists and they're just like awful men. And I go, Jamie, you know you have this type and you know going into it they're going to be this type. Why do you keep doing that? And she goes, I'm a cutter.
Oh.
Like
That's
just
too real.
And then and in my head as a comedian, I'm like, I told her, like, listen, Jamie, it's not funny, but I'm about to bust out laughing. Then I just started laughing and she was kidding. But it was so good.
That's quick. And what it is comedy comes from pain.
And also cutting.
Yeah. And also cutting. And also
Jeez.
pain comes from comedy as well.
Yeah.
Because I said that first, and that's true because if you do a show and it sucks.
Yeah. I'm glad you went back to making it about you, but that's...
No, how is it about me?
No, nothing, because you're re-quoting yourself.
I was just explaining for the audience.
Okay.
By the way, thank you for bringing this. If people can see this, old-fashioned
it's
here.
our sponsor.
On the Rocks?
On the Rocks, yeah.
They are not our sponsor.
But
they could
be.
Yeah, anytime.
Or Cutwater. Whoever comes to us first.
This is an old-fashioned, and I love it because it's an old-fashioned in the bottle.
Which, by the way, is Carlos's Rodella.
Yeah, that's right.
Rodella's... Is it your favorite drink?
Is that my last name?
I've been pronouncing it that way, so I'm hoping it is.
It is.
Okay, so Carlos Rodella, CR for short.
I never used that, but go ahead.
I mean, we're going to have to do something. It's Carlos versus Carlos.
Wait, I have a nickname, but I'll tell you, put a pin in that.
Is it Los?
We
have limited nicknames.
I know we do.
Like what? It's not Car. That's stupid.
Right, it's not Car.
It's Los.
It is Los, but there's
Carlito.
There's a story. Finish what you're going to say.
It's either Carlito or my mom calls me Loelo because she can't pronounce my name.
You're not going to remember where you were at. What were you talking about?
Oh, we were talking about being sponsored by... No, we weren't.
No, you don't know where you went. You lost your...
We need to have proper nicknames. We can't have the same
You were saying something
nicknames.
else. You were starting to say another part of this
Carlos
conversation.
Rodello? Oh, it's your favorite drink.
Oh, that's all you were going to say. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't forget.
You're right.
You thought I forget?
Yes.
No, it was your favorite drink, and that's why I brought it.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Might be one of my first gifts on the show. Yeah.
So the inaugural gift.
Maybe an inaugural gift. I don't know. Maybe.
Cheers. Cheers, man.
Yeah, cheers to water.
Cheers.
Water cheers.
Yeah, I'll do water cheers.
So the first part of the show is we're going to talk about things we're into, like I do on the podcast when I'm by myself in my room and just talking to a microphone. But now I can do it with an actual human being.
I know it's been a while. Like even us, we've done this remote for
A long
until
time.
now.
Yeah.
For until now.
Yeah, for until now.
That's a timeline.
So this is the part where we talk about things we're into. I mean, I'm into everything, as you know.
Yeah.
I'll let the guest start, which is you.
Yeah.
What's like one thing you're into right now, like entertainment-wise?
Entertainment-wise, you mean like shows and stuff like that?
Anything,
Okay.
actually. It doesn't fucking
So when I'm not out on the dating apps and dating, I was been watching Succession on HBO Max, and then The Flight Attendant on HBO Max. Holy
Brilliant.
shites.
That's amazing.
Kaylee Cuoco in that, good Lord.
And the writing of it, everything about it. I like binged
nice,
it a while
tight,
ago.
and darkly funny, and Rosie Perez in a weird role.
She's in a really weird role.
Like I'm like, you're taking a back seat, but she's not. She's just not being all overly sexualized as she usually is in these shows.
Right.
And have you seen it?
Yeah, all of it. It's amazing.
Can you agree with me that Kaylee Cuoco, for those who don't know, she's the blonde girl from The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Right. Also from the frappening iPhone downloads of celebrities in the nude.
She's
on
okay.
that too. Yeah. So that's where I know her from. She looks like a cross between Christina Applegate.
Okay.
From Married with Children
Yep.
/ that death show on Netflix. And she looks slightly like Jennifer Aniston.
Okay.
Do you agree?
Ish.
You don't see it. You see Christina Applegate.
Jennifer
though.
Aniston.
She looks like a young Christina Applegate.
Yeah, I can see Christina.
Christina Applegate. If you're listening, I didn't mean that. You look great still. You don't
did
have
say
to look
young.
You don't,
Yeah, with her
I
name,
apologize.
that's bad.
They might be like similar, like peripheral ages, and I don't. That's not even a thing. But
No.
yeah.
Well,
but amazing.
That show is amazing, and
Yeah.
I'm so glad you saw it. Yeah, everybody should watch that. It's like, again, it's the way it's written, and it's a mystery.
Yeah,
Super
it's a
cool.
whodunit.
Yeah,
right?
it's a whodunit
It's
the
a
whole
whodunit.
time.
Yeah.
And you really don't know, and it's also like an internal like struggle with her mind and stuff.
Yeah.
Super cool. And then the other one was what?
Succession.
Oh, yeah. Can you
Yeah.
explain why people like that? Because I can't get into it.
Okay, so Succession basically is this show about this billionaire family that owns an antiquated media company. So imagine it's like a documentary about Rupert Murdoch and his family's.
Right.
Like,
I don't.
reimagine,
Why
right?
would I want to see that?
Because what they're doing is they're showing you how these people have everything and they're still just miserable.
Okay.
Right. So, and it's all about family dynamics, and it's relatable in that aspect. Like, families, even though you have everything, supposedly from a financial standpoint, you're still miserable. You're still going through the same Machiavellian Game of Thrones type of cutthroat BS, right? That most families go through. So,
I still don't want to know about
it's a feel good movie.
I don't want to know about their issues
It's a
because I
feel-good-
don't give a shit about their issues.
Their issues are your issues.
No, they're not. They're like weird, rich white people issues.
They have
It's
billions of dollars, but they have the same issues. Like, it's like, when you're trying to take over your dad's company, like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. Now
Yeah,
you're right.
Everybody has that.
It is like
Do you know
my
what I'm saying?
real
Like,
life.
your youngest brother has impotence and he wants to have sex with your dad's like COO. Like, same
Right,
relatable things
got
that we
it.
all go through.
We do.
You know what I mean?
We do.
Yeah. And
So I'll
your
watch it.
sister marries like a cuckold who she wants to have an open relationship with, but she tells him on wedding night.
Oh,
Yeah. Normal, relatable things.
normal, relatable things. Okay.
You get me.
I'll check it out. I
Yeah.
was wrong.
Yeah.
I won't watch that
You heard it
show.
here first, ladies.
Yeah, I know.
Carlos Rodella.
Yes, you
Say
got
it.
it right. Oh, my
Say it.
goodness.
But come on, do you know why I do that? Because I always want to say Rodello.
Oh, well, you shouldn't. Because there's no O.
I know,
Yeah.
but I want to.
I'm
And
going
I-
to say Carlos
It's just, there's only one way to say
Hatix.
it. You said it wrong.
Yeah.
It's Hattix.
So the real quick back, rolling back to the nickname,
Mm.
LOS, Los. We were called Los as kids.
Yes.
You as well.
Yes.
I did get Toast at some point, though.
Toast?
Yeah, TOS. I don't know what that was, but I remember that. Because
Carlitos.
Carlitos. Yeah, it was Carlitos. Yeah.
Oh.
Carlitos, all the Piquito.
My friend used to call me Los Pac.
Los Pac.
Yeah, like Tupac, but Los Pac.
That actually
Some
is
people
close.
thought it's because I was in like the Pac-10, Pac-12 conference.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
but it's really because I remind people of Tupac.
that's exactly. Because you rap.
Somewhat.
Just do a little just bring it in a little bit.
Well, I don't want to
Just a little bit.
just mess it up because
No, just a little bit.
because of the thing.
No, just the hand, the
Free-
bar, just the bar. It won't do anything. There you go. I love it. I
Can you
love
hear
it.
Can you-
Yes.
Oh wow, that sounds way better. Why didn't you say something earlier?
I don't know, and it's the beginning of the show. It's just gonna not be as loud.
Well,
but-
you have to turn it. You have to edit that better.
I'm not gonna edit it at all. None of this is edited.
What else for entertainment?
Real quick before entertainment, the nickname.
Los.
Did I
and
tell you the
toast
story?
and toast. No, I'm listening.
And if I did, I'm gonna redo it because
No,
for the audience.
I don't know your.
So I was at GameSpot. I was working at GameSpot, a game company, and I was at E3, which is the big video game conference.
Mm-hmm.
And I met Snoop Dogg, and I had to interview him. And we talked about this, I think.
Let's pretend we didn't.
Okay. And so I got to interview Snoop Dogg, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to go interview him?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." And I don't know, I just don't get nervous around celebrity people.
Mm-hmm.
So I just went in there and I was ready to do it. And he had all of his bodyguards with him, and they were all like, "Don't say the wrong word," like you could just tell on their faces, like, "Get in and out." Like Snoop has 5 minutes for you, and then like I just get the energy. And then all my GameSpot crew are like, "Carlos, he's gonna interview Snoop Dogg." They're like freaking out for me.
Right.
Anyways, long story short, I'm just chill with him. We talked about Mike Tyson's Punch-Out and video games, and it just felt really cool. And then I was like saying about how did I say my name? I don't know how I came up with my name, but he goes, "Oh yeah, he just said it." He goes, "I'm here with Los right now, my main man, my cousin or something, some shit."
Yeah.
And I go, "Oh, thanks, Snoop." And he's like, "No, you know what? Fuck that. You're LO dollar sign. Because you got to get that money, And I was like, "Oh, sweet. I'm going to call myself, LO dollar sign." And then he goes, "You know what? No, fuck that too. You're LO double dollar sign. You gotta get paid.
Oh,
and then
loss.
yeah, that's what I was saying. In my head, I was like, I don't want to go and call myself Loss, but at the same time, in reality, I was like, Snoop. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll be LO double dollar sign.
Loss.
Whatever you want.
Mm.
But no, I wasn't like. I was just chill with him, and he was chill with me, and it's on the internet somewhere. But like,
Yeah, it's
it was
weird.
fun.
It's weird that Snoop Dogg was chill. He doesn't seem
Nice.
the type.
He might have been definitely his smoking face for sure.
Relatable to that is when I create passwords, I always go LOS, but the S is a dollar sign.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
And now people can break into your shit.
LOS. Damn it! But there's more to it.
You're gonna have to change it.
There's some numbers too.
There's a couple of things that are different.
Yeah, that's a good story. I like that.
Well, it's real. It's so weird, and that's the only nickname. Okay, back to entertainment. I'm watching Big Mouth because, of course.
Oh, because you're going to preview?
Yeah.
Okay.
It just started.
Or you are a Nick Kroll fan?
I'm a Nick Kroll fan, and I not to make this about stories, but that's what happens on podcasts. I met Nick Kroll and John Mulaney, and I interviewed both of them.
Are they funny
They were very funny
in real life?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they nice?
Although John, so
Mulaney's a dick, isn't he?
Well, that's what I'm gonna say. If Mulaney ever sees this, I don't know if he would, or Kroll does. Yeah. Kroll was again. I think just he's always exuding such positivity. Like he really super cool.
Yeah.
But I was there to interview Mulaney.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like
it was through a Laugh
who?
Network. It was in California. Yeah, yeah.
Dude, you have such a crazy, interesting background.
I have a weird life. Anyway, so I'm interviewing him, and I don't think wanted to be there. Like I just think he cared about like.
He looks like the type that doesn't want to be anywhere.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So it might not just been me, but like we were doing for a comedy network. And I was like interviewing him and asking about tech questions, like what apps are you using now, and stuff like that.
And this was when?
I don't remember.
Like before iPhones or after iPhones?
No, it was after.
Okay, well, don't look at me like I'm an idiot.
What am I?
I mean, I don't know.
Before would be.
I guess apps, because I guess you said apps, so I guess I should have assumed that you meant after iPhone.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, I got
But
you.
anyways, he was just like, you could tell he didn't really, I don't think really want to be there, and I got some stories out of him, and he laughed once or twice, but it just felt like whatever. And then Nick came in, and he wasn't even supposed to be there, but he was on the show, I guess, that night. And he just sat in the middle of us both to be awkward. Yeah. And he was like, don't mind me. I'm just going to be here.
Nice.
And then I said stuff to him during it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it ended. But yeah, I didn't get the energy from him, but.
From Mulaney?
Yeah, he just. I felt like he wanted to leave.
He was an alcoholic and he was doing cocaine, so maybe he just wanted to be.
He could have been fucked up too.
Yeah, and he was or just from the night before.
Right. Either way, I brought that up because yes, I love Big Mouth, and they're on it, and of course, so many other great voice actors and comedians are on there. Jenny Lewis was she on there? Not Jenny. Who is it? Who am I thinking of?
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about, and there's some controversy about her playing an ethnic character.
No, and she doesn't anymore.
Right.
Yeah, they moved it over.
Because of the whole movement.
Yeah. You said it like that, which is really funny. The movement with minorities. Is it Jenny Lewis? I feel bad. I can look up on the internet, right?
I mean, I would, but my computer's over there.
No, this internet works, right?
Wow. Obviously, we're using Windows.
I know, as it makes the little ring. Anyways, it's just going to bother me that I don't know that. Hold on. So, yeah, I'm watching that a lot. I love that show.
What do you like about it? Do you like the writing's good, right?
Yeah, I mean, they really do. It's really just to hear the people that I like.
My daughter sees, stuff in my Hulu queue, and she goes, oh, what's this? I'm like, it's Big Mouth. I go, it's not for adults, or it's not for kids. She goes, okay. No, she gets it's not for kids because she's seen me watch Family Guy. I go, that's not. You can't watch that. It's adult cartoon. And then so the workaround or the compromise is we watch Bob's Burgers.
Oh, that's totally for kids. That's for anybody. That's like Simpsons.
Oh no, it's not like Simpsons. It's there's some little bit of raunch in there.
Really?
But she can't understand it because they're references,
okay.
right? But for the most part, it's it's funny, the family show. And you know what's so crazy about that? Kirsten Shaw.
Yes, she's so good.
So my daughter watches Bob's Burgers with me. We watch it almost regularly, right, for a while. And then there was an advertisement on TV for Toy Story, right? She's a character on Toy Story, the most recent one. And she goes, hey, that's Tina or Louise, whichever one Christine. And and then we watched a movie where Kirsten Shaw's in it. She goes, "Hey, that's that girl from like Louise from Bob's Burgers." And so Kirsten Shaw has like the most recognizable voice to kids from Bob's Burgers. And I was like, "Dang, you're good."
Well, she said that in an interview recently. She was like, I go anywhere and people are like, they just know because she can't hide her voice, Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, that's just me. I'm that weird voice that
Do you think she has a boyfriend?
I don't know. She's married. She's married, I think.
Too.
I don't remember.
Do you think she does?
The internet's not working, so I can't look it up. I would.
Thank goodness. Because we don't need the internet.
We don't. And we're moving on to the next thing that I was going to get into real quick.
Fantastic.
Oh, I am going to watch the second season of Tiger King. I didn't want to, but...
I didn't watch the first season. I watched the first episode, and then I just thought everyone was stupid for watching this.
It's pretty... Yeah, again, it came out during the height of pandemic, I feel like. I don't know if I can even say that because I don't know if it's ever over. But
I don't understand why there's a season 2.
Well, let me explain. That's what this show is for.
I feel like you're just doing this for the clicks.
What? It'll be buried. It'll be buried in the notes. It's not gonna be for the clicks. No, it's really about like kind of the aftermath of what happened in the first season, and
the aftermath.
Well, because the guy's you don't know the story. He's in prison.
Yeah. So what's the aftermath of him being in prison?
It's more about like the idea of what a documentary can do to people, and I think it's really interesting. It's like a lot of like the fame and the bullshit that happens to people.
Do you know who knows that more than anyone else?
Kim Kardashian. I don't know.
Nah. The dude that went to jail after admitting that he murdered those people. He murdered his wife, and
this is where you're going to.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Like he got away with murder his entire life. And
I don't know who you're talking about. I don't know who you're talking about. The guy who coughed and then when he was lying. Yeah. I don't know his name.
Who coughed when he was lying? He went to the bathroom. He's like, "I killed them all."
Yeah. I can't think of it right now. I don't have the internet.
Everyone listening to this right now, everyone like, you guys are idiots.
Yeah, we're idiots.
Don't know this.
But what's fun is like, let's go back to the old school where we just don't know it. We can't look it up. The internet's not working.
Right, so we'll keep thinking about this. So I watched another documentary about him.
Oh, okay.
And it's like a reenactment type of documentary. So I have a new Samsung TV, and Samsung has its own this whole lineup of shows and channels. And there's one just called it's almost like True TV type of stuff.
Oh, okay.
And they followed him, and they did like a reenactment. And he was pretty abusive and weird his entire life. And he got away with it a long, long time. Like It's crazy. I don't want to throw the whole like white cis male white privilege type in there, but it was straight up ridiculous, and white people hated his ass. You know? And he was just if he never did this documentary, he would have got away with it.
That's so crazy, and I'm so like blown away that so many people are fascinated with the worst stories though. Like when it becomes to podcasts or shows, like I know you're watching that one, but it is interesting how it's like such an obsession for people to watch. Like,
why do you think that is?
Terrible things.
I
don't know.
Like, you talk like murder docs.
Yeah. That's like all over the place, and I don't really watch them.
Yeah, and it's like they're feeding their brains with this stuff, and it's crazier because it's real.
It's real.
And I think people need that kind of stimulation in their lives.
Do they, though? Everything is so bad already.
Well, think about it. Like, we already gravitate towards the negative, right? We already have our whatever they say. We believe in the whole premise of the primitive mind, right? Where we're just always in survivor mode, right? And we're always looking for something wrong or something bad. There's no other way to explain it, right? Watching the news, right? Murder docs, right? That's why we get what we get. People gravitate towards that. No one's trying to read good news.
I mean, they should.
Yeah. And no one's trying to read, there's flowery poetry, but no one really gravitates toward the flowery, right? They gravitate toward the dark.
Well, and the realistic, like, like, I mean, I used to like poetry a lot more than I do now. I mean, I was like super into it.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite poets was this guy named Lawrence Ferlinghetti. Have you heard of him?
No.
He's from the beat era, the beat poets. Yeah. And Ginsberg and all those guys. Kerouac. And but Ferlinghetti, I loved his pentameter and the way he all of the text flowed.
Poetic license. It can be all three.
I might need to lay down. I don't know what's happening. Anyway, but it was about real life. It was like, gritty, and it was about like real stuff that happened a little bit. And so, yeah. What am I watching that's a documentary? Because the Beatles one. I just finished the
one that
epic.
The one that what's his name did?
Yeah. Again, if I don't know his name now,
Jackson.
Peter Jackson.
So what's the big deal about that? Because the footage was already done. He obviously didn't make a documentary about them. He just took footage and
Well, this is the beauty of me talking about it on the show. I can explain
edited,
why.
right?
Yeah. Well, and it's edited better
It
because
looks weird.
it doesn't look weird.
Like the I don't want to say the graphics, but the way it looks, it almost looks like they're CGI'd.
I don't think it does.
It does. It does.
Okay,
It's
I watched like 8 hours of it, but
yeah, I mean, I haven't watched any of it, but from what I can tell,
nice. Okay,
it looks really
perfect.
weird.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
dude, this is the same guy that colorized World War II and other stuff like that. So, and there was no color photography when they filmed World War II, and he made it color. He colorized it, so it looks kind of like that shit. Like he did that shit to it.
I don't think it looks like that. But anyways, I think
Everyone just believe me.
just believe me because I saw all of it. But it, you know, he's
I
just
saw
the
advertising
commercial.
for it. I'm like, there's something's up. Something
The
smells
original-
rotten in Denmark.
The original footage is on the documentary
From
called
Hamlet, by the way. So I was
Good
an
job.
English major.
Good job. Let It Be was the documentary from that footage was from. And it's out there. And by the way, I just found out this last night because I was looking through all the old Beatles stuff. A lot of their documentaries are on archive.org, which is that great website that basically
Who put it
archives.
there?
It's just like free. It's like royalty free almost at this point.
Free?
Yeah.
Nothing's free.
Archive.org. Do you not know of it?
Archive.org.
It's all free.
Yeah, but my question to you is like, how did they get it for free?
People upload stuff, and then like lots of times it's based on royalty free or like it's been public domain or something like
Sorry, I live in America, so I don't.
This is what I'm
believe
talking
this.
about. This is you're doing the thing.
No, but you know what I'm saying though, like because they used like when Michael Jackson bought their entire library.
Right. Yeah.
Like he paid a handsome penny, and I mean he obviously he bought it on bond, like on with loans, but he owned the whole Beatles collection for a while there.
Well, to that point, yeah, with copyright and stuff like that. Most of the stuff is, again, the copyright's expired or something, but this is the Beatles, so it is weird that it's up there. But it is, so, and when you're listening to the show right now, you can go check it out. It's on archive.org. Long story short, that footage is on that documentary, but this is cleaned up footage. I don't think it looks weird because I watched a lot of it. But what I like a lot of about it is it's like the creative process. And so, like, you know, I would watch it in the morning and, like, it's basically following the Beatles every single day as they come into the studio, and they got their coffee and they got their little snacks, and you know they ate a lot of bread and butter. Like that was like one of their main snacks.
Europeans.
Yeah, something. And so then I would like get up in the morning for me and get my coffee and like kind of watch it.
Yeah. Did you have bread and butter?
And I had bread and butter, and it was kind of an inspiring thing, you know, like seeing the creative process, and of course seeing John Lennon and Paul together. They really were like the creative force. And to see them play with each other, there's so much joking around that it's mainly a comedy. Like there's drama, and the Beatles, you know, newsflash, spoiler, they break up at some point. Like, and then they kind of get back together, and there's like a little bit of drama, but a lot of it is just John Lennon being silly.
Nice.
And Paul being silly back with him. And they're like, you know, wasting tape. Like recording,
right.
Really dumb
it wasn't
stuff.
digital back then.
No, they're like, guys, can you fucking stop? We're like,
what's interesting though, because they're writers. I feel like that's just a writer's thing, right? Like writers they find comic relief in anything. I feel like being a good comic means being a good writer. I think
it could be, or you could
be a good comic, you should be a good writer.
I don't know if I am. I'm wondering.
I mean, not everyone's going to be like... I mean, even when you're just like a physical comic, you're still kind of writing something, right?
Yeah.
Like, pratfalls can't just be the thing, right? It's the context of that pratfall. Like, where are you falling? Like, you know, it's like I'm falling down over an old lady in a senior citizen's home while I'm trying to bring her food. Like, Meals on Wheels type of day. Like, that's funny.
Well, that's because... I guess you...
And tragic, because it's their only way to eat.
Yeah.
And then you just fucked it up.
Yeah.
What a dick.
But you're saying writing, I know what you mean, because you're saying like your premises and stuff, right? You're like coming up with...
And that's all, so if you think about it, that's also probably how they warm up their creative process loose. Because it's like, you know, because they write some pretty intense stuff sometimes, like not all the time, but I don't know what time frame you're like, this is Let It Be?
Yeah.
So I don't remember. I mean, I used to listen to Beatles a lot in high school, but I don't remember each of their albums anymore. And it's kind of funny, I say this, but I have a Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album in my living room displayed. It's like my little podcast area. Next to that is the Whoopi Goldberg on Broadway album. So those are only two albums I own besides I have one more album. But I had the Nirvana In Utero unopened, but I gave it to my my high school crushes like 18-year-old son, because he reminded me of Chris Cornell, had the beautiful looks. Kind of regret giving it to him, but I'm glad I did.
We can get it back. Let's just call him.
Yeah.
It was like a,
But yeah, I mean, I think that's probably the way that they just loosen up before they go into some intense, like either recording or performing. Because I mean, they're gonna be there they're probably in there for like hours.
Well, yeah, and this whole documentary was like a month
fucking
or something.
Ringo and George aren't doing anything funny, right?
No, they weren't doing funny. Although, no, Ringo is really cool. Like, I think someone else said this about that, but like you get to see Ringo a lot more, and he just seems like totally chill. He was like, "What's going on, guys? They're all smoking cigarettes all the time
Inside.
Oh yeah, of course.
Scandalous.
Not then.
I know.
Not then. Anyways, long story short, I love the documentary. People should check it out. I love it, and I think it's inspirational. And then also, I was going to ask you real quick about YouTube because I like watch it every day, and I have a queue. I always like right-click videos and say like watch later. Mm-hmm. Do you have like a massive like watch later queue like I do?
No, I don't. My daughter, who's 9 years old, my youngest daughter, who's 9 years old, watches YouTube all the time and TikTok. And the reason she watches YouTube is because she watches YouTube to watch gamers and Roblox and Minecraft makers, right? And so I'm watching this. This is how kids watch shows now. They don't watch like appointment TV. They don't watch the television. The only time she watches the actual TV is when she uses the YouTube app, and then she's watching all these YouTubers they make games. Yeah, and she watches these and these YouTubers, they're on like all the platforms, right? They're on YouTube, they're on the TikTok.
The right? TikTok, that's what the kids call it.
And they're very successful. But and these kids are watching. That's how they watch TV, on their phones, right? There's no reason for them to watch it on anything else or a tablet, and that's how they watch shows. Yeah. So my daughter. So if you go through my YouTube account,
it's just her stuff.
It's just her stuff. They're like, dude, you watch a lot of weird like stuff. I'm like,
wait, you should probably fix that. Wow. Now that I'm thinking about it, is it on your name and it says it's your? Yeah. She should have her own account.
She does now. She has. We just created a YouTube channel for her, and so we're creating content for her. So.
Oh right.
But yeah, I should. But in the summertime when I was in between jobs, I was on there a lot, and I used to watch just crypto stuff.
Oh right.
Yeah. A lot of crypto.
What's the one I told you about? The Guys at Crypto or something?
Maybe.
I think they call the Guys.
I listened to Andre Sheik, however you pronounce his name. He's great. He's really good. Really nice guy. And Pampano, I don't know what his first name is. Anthony Pampano. I watched that a lot. So then I just started. I obsessively watched like daily. I would just watch these guys talking about GameStop and AMC. And because of them, I bought like 1,000 shares of AMC.
What's going on with that now? Is it like?
I mean, it's not. I bought that stuff in like March of 2020, like when it was like $9, $10. So I'm still up, right? But it's supposed to go up to like 500 to 1,000 shares.
Right.
Yeah, like
to the moon.
To the moon. Yeah, we're all apes. Stuff like that.
I could never. Yeah, again.
But yeah, to answer your question, no, I don't have a lot of like YouTube stuff queued. I should. But what do you have? What do you have?
Well, no, I'm just wondering because I mean, mine's insane, and obviously I am a weirdo. I watch everything, but like it's like I can never get through it. You know, like I'm always cleaning it out.
Do you watch television more? Do you watch a lot of television?
I watch no television. No. Yeah. All the things you described about the young people. That's what I do. Like that's my energy. Like I watch stuff when I want to watch it. Appointment TV is dead. The only thing though, and it's actually a pretty good segue, is I love SNL, and you know this. We talked about SNL before. And
for those who don't know, SNL stands for Saturday Night Live.
Oh my goodness, who doesn't know that?
You don't know who's watching.
So I've been, obsessed with whatever, and I found this thing called the SNL Network, which is on YouTube, is where I first saw it. And they're doing Zoom calls with a bunch of people, and they're basically breaking down the episodes. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm here for that. I'm that kind of a nerdy SNL person where I know all the background stuff. What?
Okay, just so another show, The Sex Lives of College Girls. It's a Mindy Kaling produced and created show.
I've heard
of it. Her going to her going to school at this, I don't know, it's a fictional college called Essex College, and she's trying to get into this group called the Cotillion, which is like a comedy writing shop, almost like kind of Harvard had their whatever Harvard's like comedy writing troupe was, and then from there, really good.
Okay.
Really good writing.
That's
really,
HBO, right?
It's HBO.
Yeah,
HBO's killing it right now.
It is. Oh,
and
my
I
goodness.
don't even pay for it. I just use it. I give it for free for having AT&T wireless.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, there's all those deals that are going around. Get Hulu for this.
yeah. I don't know how many subscriptions I have right now, but I really need to
Cut them down.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
I basically canceled almost all of mine because in my
Yeah.
bad money times that
Yeah,
I'm in.
because of cancel culture.
Yeah.
I am a dad.
You are a dad. And I am a young person, which is what we decided.
So what show were you
So
talking
the
about?
SNL Network
Yes.
goes and looks at all the SNL shows, and I was just so excited about it. I joined it. So there's like a Patreon group.
Mm-hmm.
It's like really, really cheap, but it was like the idea was it helps support them for what they're doing, and then you can be on the show with them and just talk about SNL. So anyways, I'm going to be on this show. I found out I can announce it, I think. Maybe I shouldn't.
You're going to be on this show?
Yeah. I'm going to be on the show, SNL Network. And I don't know if I can say it. If I can't, I'll bleep this out, and I'll cut all the section out, and then it'll be weird. But I'm going to be on the show, not the SNL. And I'm not going to be on SNL.
You just said you were going to be on SNL, and that's all anyone heard.
No. Okay. It'd be great if I was. Someday. But no. The show where they kind of review each episode. The next episode this weekend is Billie Eilish. She's doing double duty.
Yeah.
But I'm not on that one. I'm on I think the one after at the Paul Rudd show, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Everyone's excited. I think he's just going to kill it.
So what's your participation like?
So once the show happens, then either that evening or like maybe right after, we talk about it and we record it. You know, we all just talk about it. Go through every single sketch, the open, the cold open, the monologue, all that stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's super fun. So anyways, everybody check out the SNL Network. Obviously check out the Paul Rudd episode because that's the one I'll be on. But
By the way, he's the people's sexiest man alive.
okay. I don't think I mean, if I was to judge a man, he seems fun to me, like a nice guy.
Women think funny guys are sexy.
Hello.
So
Oh.
what I tell you to do?
Perfect segue.
What I tell you to do?
Perfect segue.
What I tell you to do on your dating app?
We're going to talk about dating apps now.
Let's go.
So this is the dating app section in Deep Dive.
This is the section we call it Hinged.
Oh, we should call it that. But then it's just going to be every week about Hinge. We bumbled our way into this next segment.
Yeah. So we're both named Carlos, and we both had different experiences on dating apps.
Yeah, you have an experience and I don't. That's the difference.
That's great. That was good. That's rich, as they say in my hood.
No one says Rich. Rich Little says Rich.
For those of you who don't know, Rich Little used to be this American talk show host. Was at one time an American treasure, a national treasure.
Wasn't he on it's not the Gong Show, but the Match Game. That's dating me as an old person.
Yeah, because I don't even know what he was on.
Dude, the Match Game was one of my favorite shows ever.
Yeah. Do you like Match.com?
Okay, let's go back to dating apps. See, I don't know what that was. It's a Carlos Haddix thing or Carlos Hatix thing.
Hatix. Oh, I'm hating.
Oh.
Clever.
Oh, okay.
So when I do that, you call me Carlos Hatix.
Yeah, you're being Carlos Hatix.
Got it.
But back to dating apps.
Where do you want to go with this, by the way?
Where do I want to go with what?
Dating apps.
Well, we're in it. How do I know where we're going to go when we're in it? We're in the moment.
I'm sorry.
That's Carlos Hatix for you.
Long-time listener, first-time participant.
What do you want to do with this conversation we're having right now?
Do you want to talk?
I want to keep having it. Well,
all right.
But no. So you are successful on it. I am not. So for me and for anybody listening, for this hinged section, what are some tips, Carlos?
Okay, so if you're on a dating app such as Hinge or Bumble, they're helping you out because they limit what you can say. So if you go on Match, when I was on Match in 2003, that was the first time and I came back on it in like 2016, 17. My old profile was there, and I read what I wrote. And back in 2003, I was like this very like romantic guy. I loved to write poems. I loved to like leave notes for women. I used to like do the flowers thing, all that stuff. They don't want that shit. You know, I thought they did. I thought they wanted to hear what I had to say. If they're not attracted to you, they're not attracted to you. Sometimes you're too much. I was too much, right? So then fast forward around 2017, after I broke up with my last girlfriend, I got on Hinge and Tinder at the time. Hinge is great because Hinge just allows you to only put 6 photos, and then you can just put like 1 or 2 lines of things, and they help you out really well.
Yeah, they give you like a template.
They give you a template. They give you
things.
prompts. They they try to protect you from you.
Well, you should asterisk that with saying they're trying to protect men from men.
They're trying to protect men from themselves.
Yeah, because I don't think women are as bad as we are.
No.
In my opinion.
Yeah, this is gonna be good. Because this is I have a lot of data.
Okay.
Okay.
I need the data.
So I just need you to interview me about this stuff, right? So
this might be a weekly segment.
It can be, and I have well documented research. And,
well, give me some of the tips.
All right. So I'm not even. I'll give you some tips. So what is the end result? You want to go on a bunch of dates? You want a bunch of responses? What do you mean tips?
Just tips for getting connections for people to reply to you.
Okay.
Yeah. Period.
One, don't for guys. This is for guys, right? Even for women. Here for guys, just women don't want to see a baseball hat or sunglasses. They want to know that you're as tall as you are. So if you're gonna fake the funk, and they're looking for these things. Like they say they don't want shirtless bathroom selfies, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think they just mean they don't want shirtless bathroom selfies from guys that aren't attractive.
Right. If you shouldn't have your shirt off, don't have the shirtless pic.
Yeah, but some of those guys don't know, right?
How do you not know that? Come on, that's all right.
Have you? Yeah,
I haven't.
I'm just repeating what I hear.
Okay.
Also, if you write to a woman and she doesn't write you back, don't call her the B word or the C word or
who does? Oh, okay.
That's what they're telling me. They're just very. That's why women will either soft ghost. Soft ghost is where you're like, hey, it was nice meeting you, blah blah blah, and then there's this thing that happens if you meet somebody, right, and you're both very cordial, but there's nothing there, then you just both almost agree not to write each other back ever again, and nothing happens, and some person might violate that, and so then you're ghosted because you violated the whole thing. There wasn't anything there.
You knew that, yeah.
Right. So
okay. So those are not helpful yet, but continue.
All right. So
give me one more.
First thing is just be funny if you can, and you don't have to, and you can use humor in your posts, right? So, maybe a one line about something, just be witty or an anecdotal story. So I told a story about hey, I snuck into Cuba, right? And then I didn't have enough money to pay the exit tax. Intriguing, right?
Okay.
So that's one. Every woman seems to have a dog.
Oh my goodness, I've noticed that.
Right? Every single woman seems to have a dog. Okay. This one's not a real tip, but I would love someone out there listening to this to try this. I put hey, I'm not a narcissist. So apparently a lot of women who have been married and dated or been in a long-term relationship have dated a lot of narcissists.
Okay.
So that's my research.
Just put it out there, maybe.
So So and they happen to be attracted to me. So that's saying something, right, about me. So I'm questioning that. Just have a real picture. Don't put landscapes or whatever. Have a dog in there though.
Oh my goodness. I just rent a dog at this point.
Rent a dog or stand next. Just show that you're a dog lover.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you have a nephew or a niece that is really cute, stand by it.
Really?
Stand by it. Right?
Yeah, that's and use that verbiage.
Yeah, because anybody could, Ted Bundy's a handsome person, right? But he's a serial killer, so they don't know. Just
I think the best thing is the comedy part of it.
I didn't say comedy. I said be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah, just say something witty, funny, charming.
And also the lead in, I think, is a good idea.
These aren't good tips. You're right.
No, I'm taking some of the things. I'm saying
but I'm just telling you, if you have a hat on, if you have sunglasses on, don't.
Yeah,
and have a real picture. Some women, if you're listening to this, just get a friend to take your picture. Why are you putting in pictures where you have you're scratching out someone's face or you're they put the smiley face. I'm you don't have any other pictures.
I know that's weird. And by the way, women do that too.
No,
all the
I'm
time.
talking about women.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, guys aren't doing that. Women are
That
doing
is
that.
a real weird thing.
And then they'll have a guy in the picture. I'm like, who's this guy? No, like, context. Is that your brother?
Because that's what we always do. Like, as guys, we're like, okay, is that your baby?
Yeah.
Is that someone you're involved with? And
If I'm putting a picture of me next to a woman in there, it's either my daughter, right? And she's super cute, so I'm just advertising my DNA, or it's like a couple of women, and they're super good looking, so you know that I hang out with like at least good looking women. Right?
That might be a tip, by the way.
About what?
About what to do, because that's an interesting.
So
one.
like, oh, he has female friends, and they're better looking than me.
Well, I don't know about that specifically, but
we don't know.
Yeah, we don't.
We don't know data on that.
Okay, well, I'm going to take some of that stuff in a cloud of potential ideas and do something with that.
Well, what's your experience been? Have you gone on any dates?
Not recently, no. And again, I've not really been. I think a lot of like life in general. It's a real quick tangent. Is like being ready for like, not just manifesting, but like being ready for the next moment.
Yeah.
And with the pandemic and with like being out of work and all this kind of different stuff I went through.
Yeah.
I just wasn't me and ready.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just starting to get that way.
And also, just don't be afraid to just go ahead and ask him to coffee. I call it meet and greets. Like they're not even dates; they're meet and greets, and you do it during the day, so it's safe for the ladies, right?
Right.
And it's also inexpensive,
right?
Because like this one lady asked me if I wanted. So we were supposed to meet for coffee, then she converted it to like a dinner. She goes, "Oh, I understand." She goes, "I'm gonna pay for myself." I go, "No, I don't mind paying." She goes, "No, some guy I asked to dinner once, and he's like, oh, dating gets really expensive. So don't do that shit, guys. Like, don't be that douchebag." It's like, so this is the kind of stuff that women are. If you're just a decent dude, and you can get someone to like respond, just do the fundamentals, man. Like, it's almost like going above and beyond, just doing the fundamentals at this point.
Yeah, and I like the idea of just going directly to asking out for the coffee date thing, because that's actually like
you don't want. I mean, they don't want a texting buddy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They really
don't. Go
don't.
back and forth,
and so and then it's funny that one lady, I asked her to get coffee. She goes, "It's literally like the second thing we communicate." She goes, "That seems kind of fast." And then she's like, then she came back later. She goes, "F it, let's do it." And then I did it.
And she said F it too?
She goes, "Let's do this." And I couldn't make it. And then we just like, never talked again.
Well, I'm going to take some of that advice. And
Which one?
I don't remember now. But I'll go back and listen to this episode and then say, maybe we'll do some of those things.
We'll come back to these.
We'll come back to it. Moving on to other things besides, that's an app as well that I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Is the thing that you think I'm too like old for, which is TikTok. Because we're comedy people, and I've been doing for the last year sketches on TikTok and Instagram.
I'll say this though, even though I said we're too old, like when I was doing before, right around when you and I met, I did a show at Louse Comedy Club in Seattle, U District, and I created a TikTok video to advertise it,
right.
Posted it because TikTok had really cool editing apps, not as good as they have it now. And then Stella, my daughter, was in it with me, and that was my first TikTok. And so that was probably like 2017. And so if I just kept doing it, right?
Exactly.
I would have been way like, especially like leading into the pandemic, because that's when people really started like getting into it, right? And so it was like, I'm like, I don't know why I'm doing this, and it was really good editing, but I just didn't have the energy for it. But if I just kept doing it, because no one was really, it wasn't trending. It wasn't like kids weren't really doing it at the time, but the editing software was great. So my first TikTok was in 2017, and then I didn't make another one until I think you and I started working together, or my daughter started like getting into TikTok around like 2020. But I like it.
Yeah, it's but just, you said though, it's like it still is early days, and the fact is like, anybody and their mother is probably watching and are on it. And I think that because YouTube had that moment where if you get in early, then you can just kind of build a fan base for yourself. But if you later on, it's even can be more inundated, and it's already pretty much too crowded as it is.
I feel like even when you go on YouTube and you're trying to follow these guys who are teaching you how to increase your followers and they know the algorithm, it's changing all the time. Right?
It's changing all the time. And you know what? That's a good thing, because in my YouTube watch later list, I always watch those guys. And sometimes they have really good stuff because, like, this guy, Robert Benjamin, always talks about hashtags and strategies and stuff. And
He's good.
sometimes it works. Like, sometimes I did like 2 broad hashtags and 2 niche specific. And, like, one of my things blew up. And I was like, is it the hashtags? Is it, But like you said, it's changing all the time. Long story short, at some point, about a year ago, I jumped into it and, took that plunge. And I think that right now I'm getting close to, things moving around a bit here and there. There's a couple things that are viral. But it's just another place for me to put out, like you said earlier, the writing. And when I come up with something that I think is funny, it's a performance, but it's also like, is this setup good? And you let mainly younger people judge. But again, everybody's on there. But it is kind of fun because then I'm like, okay, if young people also think it's cool, then that's kind of cool, a feather in my cap.
Yeah, I think, and who knows if like what young people think is cool is actually cool.
Right. Oh, it doesn't really matter though, does it? Like, if people laugh and then that's it.
Because I feel like TikTok, it's like young people and old people and like people alike will like a thing on a viral, quote unquote, national scale. Yeah. Right. And I don't think it has to. Like, I don't think TikTok has anything to do with the young or old because I think everyone is on that thing.
That's exactly it. Yeah. Now. Right. Yeah. But although that being,
everybody's dancing.
There's a lot of dancing, but there's a lot. If people think that when you're listening to this right now that TikTok is a dancing app, it isn't though. Because as long as you start liking things, it'll change your For You page. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say something like TikTok is where if you just like you were an alien coming from another planet and landed here and got on TikTok, like, oh, white people dance a lot here.
There's a lot of young white people dancing.
Yeah, it's like there's no black people dancing on TikTok.
No, but there are.
No, there's a lot, but it just doesn't get into people's feeds.
Yeah, the For You page. I think in general I love it, and I think I also hate it because sometimes you'll hear my stupid text messages come in and probably not want to answer them because it's me going like, I haven't figured the fucking algorithm out yet. But every once in a while, it just fucking happens. So what I'm trying to do is just chill out with that. Yeah. Make what I think is interesting and funny. Yeah. And every once in a while, it fucking works. Like people are like, like my Starbucks content. They like, certain sketches. And the one that took off the most was on Instagram, though, because Instagram Reels is really huge right now, too.
My 9-year-old daughter like just makes like dancing ones or like, and I'll help her edit them and some of them are really cool. And then what kids her age like to look at is like Roblox. Roblox game clips, and so she'll make one. And she made like a really weird collage one, no rhyme or reason or whatever. It was just like, it just blew up for her. Because she only get like, 10 views, 50 views. And this one got like 600, which was like very different. I'm looking at this. And then the next one's like 10, 30, 40. And then she makes another one that's just like another Roblox one. She gets like, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I'm just going to say it's very random.
It's random. The algorithm's changing all the time. Just recently, to again, just bring it back to my account, the last 10 videos did like hundreds of views when I've been getting thousands or 10,000s. And so it's just weird because it wasn't that much less funny, and so, there's something.
When you first get started and if you listen to the pundits, like, they will blow your shit up. Like they'll blow your first 5 up so that you get addicted to
like drugs.
The euphoria,
like drugs.
Right? And then and then you're chasing that first inaugural like post, right? And you may never get to it, and you can't figure it out.
Well, okay. I mean, I'm past that, but I know what you're saying, and I feel like that is a thing. But at the same time, like, I think that it's changing all the time.
If it's not a thing now, it was a thing.
It might have been a thing. Yeah. Because they wanted content. I mean, that's a way to do it.
I mean, they're geniuses, right? They got all these billions of idiots like
me,
like me. Just making free content. They don't have to hire an actor. That's why the actors are obsolete. Yeah. Right? They are. I don't know why they're still paying these people like $20 million a movie. They don't draw anybody.
Well, that's a tangent we could go on because I think that there's still...
it's still TikTok, right? We're still talking about TikTok.
Right. But I'm saying actors are still needed for movies.
They're needed for movies, but they don't need to be stars.
I guess. I don't know.
So name all the stars. All the stars are like in their like 40s or 50s stars. Stars.
No.
Stars.
No stars. Zendaya.
The Rock is a star.
Zendaya's young as shit.
Zendaya
Tom
comes.
Holland.
Zendaya
together.
comes from. By the way, when I was using the Instagram celebrity lookalike app, the first person that came up that I looked like was Tom Holland.
That's wrong.
Yeah. Second was Jason Momoa. Third was Margot Robbie, and then fourth
Nice.
was Timothée Chalamet.
Okay. They're wildly off.
So,
yeah.
so did you see my Instagram? I wrote, I'm like, is this a facial AI algorithm, or is it like
mental.
sensitive, brooding
Yeah,
men with feminine energy? Because I'm like, because they nailed that.
Yeah, I
right?
mean, that's what they meant.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
But Margot Robbie was because she has really nice hair.
there's tons of young
Did you know she was on
actors that are amazing.
Mom, that TV show Mom?
I don't know what Mom is.
You don't know what Mom is?
I don't know what Mom is.
Anyways,
Moving
TikTok-
on. We're almost out of time.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
We got to get to something funny.
Well, I'm about to do something, which is
Hell
actually not
yeah,
funny. It's
hell
comedy,
Yeah.
but it's not funny.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
The money.
The money shot? That's what
No.
we'll call this segment. Yep,
The
this
money
is the money
shot.
shot.
This is what
Let's
you've
be
been
lewd.
waiting for.
Everybody's been waiting for.
Let's be lewd.
My stomach
we-
is growling, and
you
it's
should-
probably being picked up on the
You should-
mic.
You should crack the.
Yeah, we got to do that. Let's do it. Wait, we have no glasses. Oh, this has got coffee in it.
For now.
For now. Oh, that's hilarious. And maybe it's going to have old-fashioned in
Alright,
after.
well,
I
I
had to,
guess-
like, pound this water. That's what we could do.
I thought you would bring the cups. I thought. I
didn't know a gift was coming.
just thought they'd have like a water cup in there.
We
You know
can't
what?
swig it together. It's not happening.
How much time do we have? Do we have time for a pee break?
I guess we could have a quick break. This is an ad from your a local ad for your sponsor. Ad sponsor break.
So this is show is brought to you by.
I'll talk about the Knob Creek.
On the Rocks.
Is this Knob Creek?
On the Rocks is the brand, and Knob Creek is, I guess, a sub brand.
No, that's the alcohol. That's the whiskey, the bourbon. Knob
Oh
Creek.
damn!
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know a lot about alcohol.
Yeah, I do. I know my bourbon.
Okay, cool.
So we'll take a quick break, pee break, and we'll be right back. And we're back. We should have a sponsor. What is this called?
It's Proud Source water. It's water that comes in an aluminum can that which you can actually recycle. And if you people are still woke but drinking out of plastic bottles, how woke are you?
How woke are you? Get with the program.
Proud Source water.
Proud Source Water.
The woke water.
Oh, that's a pretty good tagline.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make any sense.
But it makes
perfect
dollars.
sense. It makes
Okay, you didn't go
proud
the price
sense.
that I wanted you to go.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Sorry. Now we're going to talk about comedy before we leave
Hell
because
yeah. Finally, right?
finally, although we are out of time, so we'll probably have to do this again, this segment.
We have like
10
12
minutes.
minutes.
Okay, so this segment is now called The Money Shot, and on the A Lot of Things. We had the beginning entertainment, and we had deep dive, and now this is a Money Shot.
I'm
Money
actually
Shot.
proud of myself. You actually like it. And you're the professional.
I do like it.
So I appreciate it.
I like it.
Yes.
It's like what you've been waiting for at the end.
Yes, the money shot.
Although next time maybe it'll be a little longer. So what happened is this conversation we're going to have in the Money Shot started because I made a sketch. I think this is kind of why I wanted to bring it up. Is I made a sketch quickly and a really really short sketch about Chappelle because both Carlos and I have thoughts on Chappelle and his last special, which is the closer, and the short version of what I think. The very short version is I thought that it was kind of like a TED Talk. He just basically talked about the trans community and I didn't like how his energy was. And it felt not funny and like not really a comedy special. And so I made a quick little sketch with two characters. And again, it's funny because all the comments were so rough, but it was two characters, not me specifically saying how I feel. And one character was like, yo, Chappelle's the GOAT. Did you see his new special? It was so good. And like, that's it. Which, again, I can't even comprehend how someone could say that, but I'm sure they said that out there. The other character's like, oh, you mean that spiteful TED Talk where he talked down about the trans community, basically the whole time? He's like, you don't know anything, blah, blah. And that's all the sketch was, right? Just kind of like the beginning of a discussion. And all of the comments most of them were like 99% were negative, and all these downvotes and tons of things. And one was like really like bad towards me. And I actually removed that one. But I'm usually really good about killing things with comedy, and I went into the comments and I actually had pretty good discussions with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And again, saying like, these are characters, and I wanted to get the conversation started. But the way that it was so skewed towards negativity, and like, if you don't think Dave Chappelle's the GOAT, you're an asshole, and also you're dumb for thinking these ways, and I don't like you.
Right.
So that just got me so like, frustrated and it's just confused. And before this skit that I did, we had already talked about how we didn't understand why Chappelle had so much reverence, I think. So that's the starting point of this.
Yeah. I mean, I understand why he has so much reverence. I just don't understand why people don't understand that he can also be held accountable for what the things that he says, and people don't have to be accepting of it, even if it's comedy. So you put out the comedy, then the reaction to the comedy shouldn't be like, everyone should just laugh, right? Because Chappelle's not trying to do comedy anymore, by his own admission. He goes like, the only time people ever take me seriously is I put a punchline behind what I say. I'm like, well, Chappelle, it's because you're a fucking comedian. Right? And then you're selling yourself as a comedian. So if you're doing a TED Talk, say you're doing a TED Talk about transgender issues, or you're doing a TED Talk about race relations in America. But no, we're paying $200 a ticket to come see you make us laugh. So if you are going to offend us, because by his own admission, he has people that support him in the trans community, right? So that's great. Congratulations, right? And by his own admission, most of the people that come to the show are primarily white people. Great. Congratulations, right? So if you say things that are offensive, right, in your comedy, not everyone needs to have to laugh about it. Do we have to agree that you're the GOAT? Fine. Let's say you're the GOAT. But at the same time, the GOAT, all goats, Chappelle, Richard Pryor, Carlin, blah, 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 you know, people are going to react, right? And what you want as a comedian is the reaction. Whether that's laughter, which is probably the number one reaction you want, great. But are you telling jokes? Right?
Yeah.
And are your jokes funny? They're not funny to everybody, right? And that's fine. But not everyone has to say everything Chappelle says is funny. Not true. It's never been true.
Right.
Of any
Not
comedian.
anybody. Any human being. Yeah,
not Seinfeld, not anybody.
We could talk about Seinfeld, too.
I love Seinfeld.
Anyways, yes, to your point, though, like...
Carlos is laughing because he knows I don't love Seinfeld.
Yeah, and I like parts of Seinfeld. But before we go into that, to your point, Lenny Bruce, one of my favorites.
Family comedian, very, very, green. Just kidding.
Carlos is doing his Carlos thing. No, what I'm saying is that I loved what he did, and I loved the stance he took. He was really fighting against censorship in general. Like, they were, like, taking him off stage. If our younger listeners don't know, Lenny Bruce was a comedian where when he was on stage, certain things he said, police might come in and actually take him off stage because they were considered too lewd.
Yeah.
What's that show that's out?
Yeah, for those of you who know who Lenny Bruce is, just watch the first season of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on Prime, and he is the comedian that either she bails out of jail or he bails her out of jail. So he's a very controversial figure. He's like a Chappelle-like figure. He's more like a Richard Pryor-like figure in the derogatory, like very controversial things that he was saying. But he was saying in the 50s.
Yeah, he was saying it like when it was like literally illegal.
Yeah, there's a movie called Lenny, starring Dustin Hoffman that you can just download and see. Boring, but watch it.
Nice. Well, that's kind of to the point. Like, I know what Lenny Bruce was going to bring. And again, it wasn't like the laugh out loud, kill me laughing. Although if I was in the 50s, again, it's a time period. Like, I would probably have laughed more at his stuff.
It's naughty.
Yeah, because he was like, oh, he's saying that. Or again, he was saying like what was real to him.
Yeah.
Let me kind of bring that tangent over. So like if I'm looking at Lenny Bruce, I kind of know what I'm expecting from him, right? Dave Chappelle, if I think of Chappelle, I think it's a Chappelle show. Unfortunately or fortunately, because it was the biggest thing. And I did think it was funny. I loved it, you know?
Yeah.
And so, or I think of his movies, or I think of a couple of his specials where I enjoyed a lot of it. But then I don't think of what the closer was, right? Which is this kind of talk, this discussion thing, which some comedians do, and Lenny Bruce did all the time. That's kind of his shtick, right? And so it wasn't his, and that's why it kind of came out of left field for me. Also, and to your point, there's no jokes. There's no motherfucking jokes in that special. You go back and rewatch that, and I
Are you talking about the closer?
Yes.
Yeah.
I literally ask anybody who's listening to this to show me the joke. And he did some, in quotes, jokes about Jews and stuff that were just like lame duck jokes, like not even real jokes.
Let me ask you this. Did you laugh at all?
Never. Not even once.
So I find that a little strange because I did laugh.
Really?
So, yeah.
Wait, where did you laugh?
I laughed. I thought some of the stuff that he said was funny. And I thought, like, for instance, I think when he opened up with like the references to the baby, right? And how he doesn't tell jokes, but what he does is he relies on his inflections and how he says certain things and certain words. So when he says the N-word, A lot of people like to laugh because he has this high-pitched voice, but he's using the N-word to create this intonation that's very almost trademark of Chappelle's style, right? Is it funny? Not necessarily, but you laugh because it's something that you're familiar with and you're used to, and he uses it as a device, as a technique that he uses.
It's his inflection, I would say.
It's his inflection because it worked a lot better when he was skinny and like not as like, I wouldn't say he's buff, but he's filled out, right? So he looks different. He has a different kind of swagger. He's just not this harmless, skinny black guy that could probably have been a crackhead, right? People love that. People find that.
Well, he was that in his show.
Yeah, people find that funny. I found there was some humor in his comedy in The Closer. I did laugh. I will say that. At what part did I laugh? Don't remember, right? But it was funny. I also found myself just paying attention to what he was doing. And is what he's doing traditional stand-up comedy? I don't know anymore, right? Because he by his own mission, he doesn't necessarily want to do that. He wants to be provocative. He wants to be like semi-George Carlin-ish, right? But he doesn't want to be held accountable for anything he says. And I say that because he wants to go, hey, you guys came in here, this is a comedy show. Yeah. Are you going to tell a joke? Right?
Right.
Are you going to tell a joke, right? If you go to a Trevor Noah show, Seinfeld for sure just tells jokes. That's all Seinfeld does. He's not trying to harm anybody. Chappelle wants to be this pundit, right? This philosopher, right? He wants to be this, this is what happens when you have a mic and then you start making some money and then you never went to fucking college, right? And you have the mic, you have the floor, people are paying you millions, but he is a good writer.
Yeah, but when you say he wants this, like, if we're not following him like in social or something, how do we know what
if he wants to make $500 million for his like TV show like Seinfeld and Larry David does, he does something different, right? He's okay with getting like $100 million for 4 specials, and he can say whatever the fuck he wants because he's already got that money. It's guaranteed.
Yeah, but I'm saying like when you're saying what he wants to be like known for now, right? Let's say he wants to be this pundit, whatever. If I'm just watching this,
he's not trying to be known to tell nice, funny, family-friendly jokes.
I've never said that, but
Right.
I'm saying like if you look at Sticks and Stones or whatever, look at different specials. That again, the closer doesn't feel like those, and so if you're going off just material, there's nothing that signals to me that that's what he's doing now.
That he's trying to be a comedian. Or that he's trying to tackle all these topics that would seem like taboo. Like, why is he like? There's one episode where he's in the Comedy Store, and I forgot what it's called. Either Sticks and Stones or Equanimity. I don't know which one of these specials he did. I mean, it was. I found it god awful, and he was basically trying to like mansplain and or like to tell women like, women, you got to stop doing this and this. I'm like,
I think
why
I remember that. Yeah.
are you even doing that? Because like for me as a person that wants to see him tell funny jokes, I'm like, dude, not interested.
Yeah.
Not from you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So you're saying that he maybe already started this kind of thing?
He started a while back. I'm like, dude, I don't want to see this. When I watched The Closer, I'm like, okay, this was a good close because I knew
we're like on different pages.
That's okay. That's good.
Yeah.
Like why we don't need to be like we don't need to be on the same thing.
We don't.
Spy was like, it's a civil discourse on this. And by the way, I'm not 100% like a Chappelle fan. We're just talking about The Closer in particular, right? So did I laugh? That was a question. Did I laugh? Absolutely. You're saying you didn't laugh at all. I got text messages from friends, female friends. Like, she goes, "Did you watch this?" I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "It's hard to watch. I couldn't watch the whole thing. I had to stop." This is my friend's like a therapist, and she deals with women with trauma and whatever. And she has she has friends in the LGBTQIA plus community, right?
Nice.
So it's not funny to everyone. And then you watch the show and you see the people in the front row, right? And
they focus on those two people so much, though.
Well, because you see the facial expression, they're not having a good time. They're not having a good time, and as a entertainer,
right,
you're failing.
Right, because if you go to a small club and did that, then you don't go back up, or you get the red light. You know what I mean? Like, you got to fucking get off stage.
So let's talk about that for a second. Right?
Yeah, that's
so we're not talking about whether or not Dave Chappelle is funny. We're talking about whether or not The Closer was funny.
Right, but I want to put an asterisk in one specific thing, which we have a few minutes to get to, of why I was frustrated with his TED Talk version of it. But to this point, yeah, if you're doing the comedy special on a stage, and that's, again, your profession as a comedian, and we know we both been on the stage and we both did okay. I would say I did okay sometimes, or just ate shit.
Yeah.
And
I've done both.
Yeah, and if you're up there and he's doing what he's doing for, I don't know how long it was, but a pretty long time, and you got nobody,
Yeah.
You got a few pockets of people, I watched it in the audience, that you got, but most of them you don't,
Right.
then that's a failure, like from a entertainment standpoint.
Right. But from the standpoint of people who were watching that show that weren't in the stands,
Right.
it was, and according to Netflix, so Netflix just tell you they don't reveal their data, but they'll just tell you how well it did, and they stood their ground and they didn't take him down, which I respect that move, right? Because I don't want anything that's been made to be removed.
Right. That's gets to censorship. And
you stand by it if people are watching it, right? Versus people aren't watching. That's why Netflix is like, they need to reveal their data, because they're telling us like Red Notice is the most watched show.
I know. Why aren't they giving us the data?
Because they don't have to, and we'll just believe them. Just like their top 10 is bullshit.
Let's come back to that on the show sometime.
Sorry.
No, because I really want to get
we'll
to
come back next week. So Chappelle, the closer. We're talking about the closer, and is Chappelle funny? Yes, Chappelle is funny to me, right? Is he the GOAT? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't think the greatest of all time is the stupidest fucking thing that you can ever say.
Everyone's so diverse.
Everyone's still going. But let's just say we go, okay, Chappelle is in the running for sure in the top 10 of the GOATs, right?
As in your opinion.
There's Tom Brady. There's
nice.
So I'm like, he is the comedian of this time. And there's another thing I want to say before the end of this. Is like he's saying stuff that's offensive.
Okay.
To some people.
To some people. Yeah.
Right? He's saying stuff that's offensive to some people, and some people are standing behind him, more not because they think what he's saying in the closer is funny, but because they're tired of being subjected to cancel culture's overly tyrannical, aka puritanical, right, viewpoint. And that's how it comes off. And so he's getting followers and he's getting supporters that he probably doesn't want.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm trying to get to? I'm not going to say it.
No, I get it.
Right? So he's saying controversial things, right, that seems disparaging and is disparaging to the transgender community, right? And he's saying it in an apologetic way, and that's what's really getting people, right? So because he's able to say, as a black male, he's able to say all these things and still have the special stay on, and also Netflix is standing by him, and he hasn't gotten canceled. He's still getting whatever. There's people that are probably not in his demographically favored, backing him in silence.
And now they're super fans.
Yeah, they're super fans.
Well, that brings a whole other thing we'll have to get to another episode because we're out of time. But before we leave, I do want to say one last thing, and it is just that one of the main reasons I didn't like that specific special was because it was about generally one topic. And so I've watched almost every comedy special, right?
Okay, so
we can go that real quick.
Yeah.
And it's about a topic that isn't inherently funny. It's like inherently depressing, and like there's a lot of trauma and bullying going around this topic. So my point when I first started watching it and thinking he was going to pivot at some point, and he never did, I was like, oh, this isn't funny for this reason, because I like watching someone tackle a bunch of issues that we're all going through, not like this one specific thing, which I only find like, dark news around. And then, and this is, I gotta say this, his one, saving grace about him being friends with somebody who's trans turns out to be a horrific ending to a story. And when you do that, this is important. When you do that in entertainment or even as a TED Talk or as a comedian, you better fucking do something good with that ending. Mm-hmm. If somebody's fucking life ended, you don't do what he did, which was just like a little pitter-patter, silence. The audience doesn't know what to do. And then he makes a joke that, this woman would have enjoyed his comedy. Yeah. Which is very egotistical. Sure. We're out of time, but like that is one last thing.
Let me say that. So in summation, so to your point,
you're going to summate my thing.
Yeah, no, I think it's very important. So when you say it like that, now I look at it from a different point of view. So he stayed on one topic that wasn't wasn't a uplifting, good feel, whatever. And then he wanted to defend his stance by saying that, hey, I had this one transgender female who loved me and she supported me. And guess what? She killed herself because you guys hated on her because she supported me. So it's your fault.
Is that gaslighting or something? Yeah, it's like...
Yeah, and then I'm like, oh, and that's how he closed the story. And we're like, so that's comedy. That's the Dave Chappelle comedy, right? So is that comedy?
I wouldn't even call that Dave Chappelle comedy.
Yeah,
because I like
it's
Dave
just a
Chappelle
really
comedy.
bad TED Talk.
And that's it. We're out of time. Carlos Haddix, thank you for being here. You'll probably just be on next week because we got to talk about that more. And send any comments on this video. Go ahead, bring them because I'm not taking this one down. I took that other sketch down off YouTube because I just don't want to deal with it
really?
anymore. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
It's still on the other platforms, but on YouTube it was getting really crazy. So
We should talk about comments.
please follow us on youtube.com/a-lot-of-things. I'm on TikTok, Carlos Rodella, Rodela. Carlos Rodella Comedy on Instagram. What is your shit?
I am on Haha Addicts on Instagram as well too.
Haha HHH
HA_HA.
Oh, there's an underscore?
Haddix. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You'll never find me.
We'll put it in the show notes. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.